Hello and welcome back to The Good, the Bad and the Ugly Show. So today we're going back to school. That's right, we're going to be taking a look at some of the worst bullies that ever attended Grange Hill.
You want some too, fatty?
Grange Hill was a British TV series that ran from 1978 until sometime in the early 2000s. I can't quite recall when it ended, maybe 2008. That could be wrong.
You stupid idiot.
I'll put it on the screen. But anyway, I loved it growing up. I used to watch it, mainly watch the repeats of the old 70s stuff on Sunday mornings, I think it was, back in the early 90s. Of course, I still watched it after school when I got home as well. It was still running right up until I finished high school, you know. So you always watch Grange Hill. And the most entertaining episodes were always the ones that involved the bullies. A lot of them are quite funny. Some of them are kind of real bad stereotypes. But we love it. We did enjoy it. We loved it all. So, join me in detention as we count down the top 7 worst bullies of Grange Hill. So we'll start with like the least threatening down to the very worst of the core. So, we begin with Ian Hudson, played by John Joseph, and he attended Grange Hill between the years of 98 to 2004. So yeah, he wasn't really that much of a bully. In fact, he started off as a kind of mean, menacing character, and then went on to kind of be slightly redeemed, to eventually being bullied by a teacher named Mr. Deverill. Although I don't remember that storyline. That must have been after I stopped watching.
Now just give me that thing.
That is not the right approach, Michael.
Just calm down. Time for another masterclass from Miss Fraser, is it? As if it wasn't difficult enough getting respect from this lot.
But yeah, I do remember him causing a little bit of frustration to the poor, very nervous Alan Hawkins, played by Sam Bardens. So yeah, then he went on to kind of torment him. This slightly, who appeared as a slightly weaker character, sort of got lost in the woods, and I think he eventually ended up looking after some wolves or something like that.
Gonna get you off the school, wolf boy.
So yeah, that was him. The only other thing I ever saw this actor do was he appeared in a very brief role in EastEnders bullying Alfie Moon. So, kept to the character. So, number 6. Number 6 on our list of Grange Hill bullies. We have, of course, the irritating little Burke that was Spencer Hargreaves. He attended the school of Grange Hill between the years of 99 and 2005, and played by Colin White. His bullying was a result of his terrible father and his parents up and leaving him to fend for himself. He came round, like a lot of these bullies have redemption stories. Of course, he ended up as a redeemed character later on, saw the error of his ways, and all that kind of stuff. His victim in the early days was, of course, Amy Davenport, played by Lindsay Ray. So yeah, this is basically a large girl being bullied for her weight and her general hygiene and stuff by this nasty little guy.
Special needs classes have to learn to read and write. Oh, who's going to save you now, Mr. Hank? You fat slug retard. Go out from where you came from. Go on, you big thicko. Go be stupid somewhere else. Big thickos of Grange Hill. Leave it alone.
I'm sure this happened to a lot of people, so people could have related to this. It was quite nasty, and eventually he was put in his place. So yeah, I mean that's all I can say about Spencer Hargreaves. So this brings us down to number 5. We have Imelda Davis, and she was played by Fleur Taylor and attended the school between the years of 85 and 87. So yeah, she was the head of this this gang of nasty kids called the Terrorhawks. The name rings a bell. And she was friends with Trevor Cleaver. Now, Trevor Cleaver, I would mention him in this list of bullies, but I don't really think he really qualifies, because I think he was a wannabe bully. It's that big ginger-haired kid. I don't know. He always seemed to get his ass handed to him in these situations, so I wouldn't put him as a proper bully. More of a kind of an opportunist, and we all remember people like that at school. People who would try and bully you if they got an inch, but you could quickly, you know, give them a kick up the arse and send them on their way. So yeah, so we'll mention Trevor in this section, but not as a proper bully, because he don't really qualify. But yeah, her victim was, well, basically everyone and anyone who would look at her. So she was an horrible piece of work, really. Obviously had that kind of punk thing going, which is a bit of a cliche, because punks ain't bullies, we all know this. But yeah, they wanted this kind of like rebel kind of punk character. And yeah, she fitted the bill. I think she probably scared a few people, I don't know, maybe ruffled a few feathers. Anyhow.
Just as long as you wasn't laughing at me, that's all. Go on, get out.
We'll move down to number 4. We have Moher, aka Frances McCool. Or should it be the other way around? Anyway, Moher was a bit of a crap character again. I think I wasn't a massive fan. Basically, he was a replacement for Gripper Stebson, who had just left the show, and I think he was kind of like a poor man's Gripper Stebson. He had the similar haircut and the similar look, but not anywhere near the menacing quality. So yeah, that's why he's sort of lower down on the list. Still a nasty looking character, you know, not someone you'd want to mess with at school. He looked like the kind of nasty type. And he was played by Joshua Fenton and attended the school between the years of 88 and 90. That's right. And his friend and little sidekick was Ted Fisk. But yeah, Moher was a bit of a short-lived character, really. He had dealings with Roland as well, who we'll get into all that stuff later on. Not many great storylines. Yeah, a bit lackluster as a bully, really. And not so much of a bully later on. Sort of a redeemable character. So, boring.
Hang on. Moher ain't finished talking to you yet. Sorry.
And now we move down to number 3, and we have Jackie Heron. Yeah, she was played by Miriam Mann and served her sentence between the years of 78 and 79. Her victim was Judy Preston, played by Abigail Brown. So, yeah, she was horrible, this one. So, she kind of looked like she might be a teacher when I remember seeing this as a kid and thinking she looks way too old. But, I don't know, I guess it's the haircut and the clothes. I guess in the 70s was a bit of a different time. But, yeah, she bullied the girls. She was like the first girl bully in Grange Hill. And, yeah, she was pretty menacing. She played the role really evilly, in a real nasty kind of way, which is a lot of fun, I think. So that's why she's so far near the top of this list, rather than a kind of a mention further back. She was kind of like the first nasty bully of the series, and there were many more to follow this.
Hello, Judy. Haven't forgotten that today's my birthday, have you? I did remind you yesterday. Remember?
Yes, let go, you're hurting me.
So now we move down to number 2. Second position is, of course, the horrible little irk, Doyle, aka Michael Doyle. So yeah, nasty little blonde kid. I always wondered if like there was some inspiration for the nasty blonde kid in Harry Potter, because they both play the role in this kind of real nasty, snidey little kind of horrible way. He was very good at what he did, and of course this was the racism story as well, featuring Benny Green, played by Terry Sue Pratt. So yeah, basically he bullied Benny. He was racist. He was horrible. He had all the worst qualities, and he was also a wimp as well. So when he could bully someone smaller, but then when the other kids came along, he would kind of run away.
2 seconds. Come here often.
He was a bit of a lame person, but he had no real turnaround either. No redemption for this character. He just kind of like moved up the school and remained a bit of a dick, and then eventually sort of disappeared. So yeah, he was also kind of the rival of Tucker Jenkins, who was like, you know, Todd Carty's main character, the main star of Grange Hill for the first, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. He went off to have his own spin-off show called Tucker's Luck, if you might remember that. There were some scary bullies in that as well. And, of course, eventually Mark Fowler in EastEnders. So, yeah, he made quite a name for himself. But he was really the face of Grange Hill in these days. And Doyle was, like, the baddie. I think there were even comics. If I remember rightly, I'm sure I remember reading Grange Hill comics, which would have him facing off against Doyle. I think. That might be a false memory. I don't know. I'd be surprised if there wasn't, though. I don't know if I've got any Grange Hill annuals knocking about. Maybe there's one or two around here somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, Doyle, little bastard. He was played by Vincent Hall, Have I seen him in anything else? I did. He appeared in a few kind of dramas around the time. I haven't seen him in much since the 70s, to be honest. But yeah, he definitely deserves second spot for being the first male antagonist on the show, and an honourable one as well. Kind of like King Joffrey in Game of Thrones, that kind of vibe. Just a nasty blonde kid that was always there. So now we move down to the number one position, the worst, nastiest bully on TV. I think ever. I think the number one nastiest person on Grange Hill throughout the entire history of it, which is quite a long time. Of course, it is the almighty Norman Gripper Stebson. So yeah, Gripper, the name that strikes terror into the minds of small children in the early 80s. Yeah, so he served his time between 1980 and 1983, and he was played by Mark Savage. A really, really good role, and a good child actor as well, just menacing and horrible. And he had all the hallmarks. He had like the quiff and the whole kind of like nasty, kind of like whenever you have bullies in American 80s films or 80s TV, they always had quiffs and leather jackets.
Oi, you, Gutsy. You're a new boy, ain't you? Can't you talk?
Yeah.
Sir? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's better.
And that was kind of the look of the school bully, and so I think Gripper did that pretty well, really. He had that dark gear and the quiff and stuff, and the nasty mean look. And he bullied poor Roland. Of course, Roland Browning, played by Erkan Mustafa. Yeah, so Roland had a tough time at Grange Hill. He really did. Everyone who remembers will remember this very well, watching that poor kid shuffle from one corridor to the other, to be then picked on by Gripper, who kind of got him in his sights.
And stop wearing these 4 eyes.
Oh, Gripper, give me a back. I can't say without
What's it worth?
Oh, Gripper, don't be mean. Oh, Gripper, don't be mean.
Now, Gripper went on to be a racist and all kinds of nasty things, even shoving a dirty mop in a girl's face. I remember that scene pretty well. And just bullying everyone, really. I mean, his victims were basically anyone, again. And he was an extortionist, like that whole school business of taking all your pocket money and all your food and stuff. That whole thing. He did a lot of that. But it was very entertaining to watch. And watching all of Grange Hill back a few years ago, that was my favourite bit, I think, watching Gripper Stebson, because it was just interesting. And when he left, I think there was a Gripper-shaped hole. Of course, his little sister was then in it for a bit as a bully, the same kind of thing, but it didn't really work out. And then he would appear in little cameos and stuff, but nah, Gripper needed his own show, the Gripper Stebson show.
I'll wash some of that filth out of your mouth. Stebson is the last thing I do.
I'll report you for assault, Baxter.
And eventually he was kicked out after trying to create what I believe was a race war, really, which is an interesting storyline, to say the very least. He picked on this Rasta kid, and all hell broke loose. But yeah, that was the Gripper Stebson story, and it was very, very good. And his friends, because he always got these two little nasty characters that hang around with the bully. That was always a thing, and that was a thing actually in real life. But his friends were Denny Reese and Georgie Smith, who were played by actors, I believe. But yeah, there was a great storyline where one of his friends, after he was excluded, one of his friends had to carry on at the school and deal with the consequences. Pretty good. But yeah, so there we go. That was my top 7 bullies of Grange Hill. Other people might remember others who were actually pretty good as well, but I can't, I'm just going from my own memory and my own experience with it. I know there was a bully played by an actor who looked a bit like Alex Winter, who was in the Cray Brothers film. I can't quite put my, I'll try and put an image on screen if I can find one. But, I don't know. And there were lots of other bullies along the way, rival schools, etc. But, So anyway, a classic show, Grange Hill, and I think it's a sorely missed thing. I think it'd always be something you can relate to, because everyone has to go to school, so watching a thing about school and about the struggles at school, it's like adults watching soaps about day-to-day stuff. I think Grange Hill should be on TV. I don't know why they ever cancelled it or felt it had run its course. Because, it doesn't run its course until school runs its course, which won't happen. So I think it's an important thing. So let's put Grange Hill back on TV. Let's get that sorted out. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, or you had the patience to still be here watching it at this point, please like, share, and subscribe to The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly Show.
Because there's no room left in hell.
Fine, thank you.
What's your story?
Well, I'm in young girls' pants. I manufacture pants.
Oh, what filth.
Why do you feel it now?
I don't feel that there's any great interest in it. Clearly, you must have felt the world wanted to know what your private parts look like, and now the world knows.
Suggesting
Dummies! Dummies!
A consonant, please, Carol.
C.
A vowel.
That is E.
Another vowel.
Another vowel. I.
Consonant.